Well, gentlemen, it's been a minute. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got an interesting situation, and I'm going to kind of walk you through it. It's a little bit of a riddle, but nonetheless, here we go. So, let me take you back to December of 2024. It was about 3 weeks before Christmas. It was time to get a Christmas tree. So, got in the Rover, went over to town one night. It was about 8 o'clock. Firehouse was open till about 8:30. And I grabbed a tree and threw it in the back of the Rover because the tree fits in the back of the Rover, and so why not? And I got home, and it just happened to be like bitterly cold that night. And so I decided not to unload the Christmas tree and left the Christmas tree there for, I don't know, about 3 days until Saturday. Saturday comes around, and I know I have to unload the tree. It's a very, very cold day, and I'm thinking, I want to go to the gym today. So I go out in the driveway, and this is how I know I'm getting old. I don't like getting into a cold car. And so I start the Rover up and to warm her up, and I go back inside, and I end up putting on a YouTube video, probably watching Ivan or something like that at Pine Hollow Diagnostics. I love that guy. And I completely forget that the Rover's running, okay? It's like 2 hours later, and I realize that the Rover's still running, and I frantically run out into the driveway. And the car is running, and I go inside, and I see the gas light, and the car is puttering, and I shut her down, and I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But in my head, I'm like, oh, I've let this thing run out of gas. And so that was sort of it, right? I went inside. I didn't end up going to the gym. Next day, I go out into the driveway, and it's time to unload the Christmas tree. And there's a few clues in here, which is why I'm going to this detail. But essentially, I start the car, and I back the car up to my front porch because I'm going to unload the Christmas tree through the front door. And the car starts fine, and as I'm driving over to the front door, she does feel like she's going to stall for a second, but she actually doesn't stall. And I back up, and I shut the car down, and she's never started again since. And it's May of 2025, and actually the Rover sat in my front lawn for 3 or 4 months, which was pretty embarrassing. But it ended up snowing, and I just couldn't get it out of there. And I finally had a friend come over with his truck and pull me over to my driveway. So good times there. And so that is that. And so what you're about to see right now is me going through a couple of different tests to try to figure out what exactly is up here. Is it a compression test? Did I somehow overheat my engine? What did I do I have a fuel pump issue? Figure out what exactly. And so my goal here is to try to figure out exactly what it is. And again, I'm not a mechanic, but I like fooling around, but I don't have a good feeling about this. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. So I'm going to just disconnect the fuel pump relay. So easy to grab right over here.
I really want 140. 140 is the number I'm looking for. Negative. No change. Not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all. Well, so that came out too easy. I'm paranoid now because I'm like, well, what if it wasn't on tight enough? All right, I'm gonna just do this quick. I can't imagine it's an issue, but I'm just. The more I listen to it, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. A little better. It's a little better. Still low. From what I see, 140, 150 is kind of where it's supposed to be. Okay. This puppy is also not steamed. I don't think I'm going to find that. I think I've got... My opinion right now is I do have a head gasket issue. But I have some compression. And I haven't steamed my cylinders. I don't know how scientifically sound that is. That's what I'm thinking. Or, the other possibility is I'm an idiot, which is, by the way, there's a really good chance of that. It's kind of amazing how easy this compression tester just screws in. You wouldn't think it would go in that easily, this floppy, rubbery thing. But as I was saying, the other theory, and it could be a real one, is I was cranking on this thing yesterday, and if my battery is very low, which it could be, and it is freezing cold out right now, even though I'm in this t-shirt, it could be impacting the results of this test. Now, granted, I am being very wishful. But, all right, let's see if we can get you a look. Place your bets, boys. Place your bets. Now, one interesting thing. Ooh. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, gentlemen, I don't think there's another way to interpret that. I do not think there's another way to interpret that. I think we've got some compression issues, likely head gasket, maybe more. Who knows if the block is warped or if it's just the head. Who knows? But we've got 278,000 miles on this thing. No, it's not that many. It's probably 277. And this is terribly sad for me. So I wish there was a better outcome. And I guess I'll take a few days to think about what I'm going to do here. It really doesn't make financial sense for me to engine swap this thing. But part of me wants to do it. Part of me wants to do an engine swap. Just because I have not seen too many of them. I don't know that I would do it. I probably have to bring in some help. You know, and the engines on this thing are not terribly expensive at this point. You probably find one with maybe 150,000 miles for, you know, maybe $800-900. But the other issue is that there are other problems with this car. Transmission is probably not in the best shape. You know, it's been slipping from 2 to 3 for, I mean, I don't know, 200,000 miles. Hasn't really bothered me, but you know, when you thinking about these engine problems, you need a new engine potentially, and you really potentially need a transmission, and you've got 275. The math just doesn't really work. You know, unfortunately, you get emotionally attached to these things, and man, I have a lot of great memories in this Rover. So, all right, guys, sorry for the sad Rover video, but that's a wrap. And thanks for liking and subscribing. Leave a comment if you think I should engine swap this thing and try to get some of it on film for science, for YouTube. I'd be interested if financially it does not make sense, right? But, you know, if there's a bunch of you that are interested in this and I could get some subs and maybe eventually make a few bucks off this channel, I hate to say it, but that is the reality. It takes a lot of time to fill this stuff. Whatever you see here, you know, is cut down to probably a tenth of the time it actually takes. So, all right, leave a comment, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Huh. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I think my theory is right, gentlemen. I think we have a fuel issue. Well, we are back at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful spring day here in the lower Hudson Valley, and the Rover still won't start, and we're gonna try one or two last things before, you know, we say goodbye here, which is very, very sad. But here's what's happening. Tested fuel, hooked the fuel pressure gauge up, and as you can see, the car's off right now, and you know, it's interesting. She's holding pressure at the rail. So, and this has been off for like 3 hours. And so where this leaves me is we have a compression issue, or if we go back to the beginning of the story goes that I let the car run out of gas, and then I went into my garage and grabbed a random red gas can that had gas in it that was God knows how old. I proceeded to pour it into the tank, and it's possible that that gas was bad. Okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. When I try to start this car, I hear a car that wants to start. I hear a soul that's not ready to die. That may have been a little bit dramatic. And so I have a fuel pressure gauge hooked up to the rail, and when I turn the ignition, I've got 60 pounds of pressure at the rail, which I believe to be correct. I am at the point where I'm trying to sniff out the bad gas theory. So this is what I've done to do that. I have, kind of walk around here and show you. I have this OTC fuel injector cleaner contraption that I purchased, I don't know, a couple years ago to clean my fuel injectors. Because why not? It was a bit of a proactive thing. And this is closed off, so nothing is going to the fuel rail right now. And then this comes around, and it is tied in to the fuel rail. So in here we have known good gas, and that's the test that we're doing right now. We're trying to basically say, will this car run with good gas? And so without further ado, let me put you on the tripod and we'll give her a shot. I'm gonna put you a little bit close. Okay, I'm gonna turn the line on. Okay, so you probably can't see that, but the fuel pressure gauge over there is now 60, so we know we have fuel pressure at the rail. Let's give this a shot. Shut her down. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I still don't know the issue, but I know that when I run her on an external fuel source with good gas, the car starts. Doesn't run great, does not run great. It won't stay running. If I let it go a little bit longer, I think it would have stalled. And the reason I know that is because I obviously did this before. Yeah, YouTube's not all real, you know. Where does this leave me? Let me gather my thoughts here for a second. I can still have a compression issue. That could still be the problem. Or I could still have a clogged injector issue. I I think I've ruled out the fuel pump. It's possible that I have bad gas, but I did let this thing run out of gas, and it is certainly possible that I sucked up God knows at the bottom of this tank and clogged my injectors, and that is what my issue is, right? I mean, it would make sense that if it sounds like a fuel issue. It sounds like a fuel issue. So I'm just, for kicks and giggles, I'm going to start this thing one more time, and I will show you. I think it's going to stall. I think it will stall. It is still barely running. Come on. Come on. Clear those injectors, baby. Running, and she sounds like she's running pretty well. Oh my God. Oh, my adrenaline is pumping right now. Okay, so I heard her run, and now I have a little bit of institutional knowledge here. When I ran the injector cleaner 2-3 years ago, and I think I made a video on it, she didn't run great. She doesn't like this setup, and in fact I think the pressure is just too low. I think this car really needs more than 60 pounds of pressure at the rail. And so I do wonder if I cleaned up, or I do wonder if I potentially cleared up this fuel injector clog that I've theorized about. And I'm wondering if I should hook her back up to the fuel rail and test that theory. But here's the thing, is I don't have time to do it because I've got somewhere to be this afternoon. And I haven't posted a video in like 6 months. And you know, my fans are upset with me. Just kidding. I have 0 fans, and this channel's going nowhere, but I enjoy tinkering with this Rover for the world to see. So that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I will have a follow-up video in the next couple of days. If you wouldn't mind giving me a like, and if you would not mind giving me a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Happy Mother's Day, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to you soon. Bye.